Swastiastu, everyone. Green rice field, the gentle rhythm of gamelan, towering temples, meaningful ceremonies, vibrant offerings are placed lovingly each morning. This is what my home sounds like. But now, honking horns, endless construction noise, the scent of incense mixed with exhaust fumes, trees and hills are cut down just to make way for another illegal, foreign-owned villa with a beachside front view. Bali was once celebrated and appreciated for its rich culture, its beautiful scenery, the warmth of its people. But now it's known for luxury resorts, wild nightlife, cheap food made for the tourist eyes. Bali attracts a whopping more than 6 million people per year. More than 6 million people come across the globe just to travel and see what Bali is like. So let me ask you all a question. Why do you travel? For me and many others, it's to see the different cultures, see what life is like on a different place, see what the community is there like, to grow as human beings and create new memories. But for too many people today, traveling has become a social capital, a chance to brag, to post, to collect likes, and to boost status. How did we get here? Bali's tourism began in the 1920s under the Dutch colonial rule. They marketed Bali as an exotic escape, sacred temples, terraced rice field, and even, yes, bare-chested Balinese women. After independence in 1945, Indonesia saw the economic potential of what tourism has. So the government built more and more hotels to support the influx. But this made the local worry. They feared their culture would be slowly swept away, lost. And they were right. To balance things, the government found a solution. Cultural tourism was introduced, an effort to preserve Balinese culture while embracing visitors, because they understood that dancing, art, and music had to be preserved, but they wanted to monetize that. But let me ask you all here, is it working? Today, we have a long list of tourism solutions. Eco-tourism, sustainable tourism, green tourism, soft tourism, all with the goal of creating a more positive change, reducing the negative impact. But they often exist in name only. Take hotels, for example. They would put up a card asking guests to reuse their towel to be greener. They would only offer paper straws because they want to save our planet. They would donate to a local orphanage and call it CSR, corporate social responsibility. This is not a change to sustainability. This is greenwashing. What we truly need is a shift, not just in policy. Well, there isn't really a clear one to start with, but in mindsets, in the paradigms in which we, everyone here, exist. I started noticing this problem as a little kid, passing by Canggu, passing by my neighbor, and seeing buildings rise in the rice fields. But that back then, it didn't really hit me. I didn't really care, actually, because it wasn't directly impacting me yet. Until I met Ibu Anik. Ibu Anik Puswabadani, she's from a coastal village of Kelechung. That village heavily depends on rice, agriculture, and fishing. In fact, 30% of the population there are fishers. Ibu Anik spent her childhood growing up there. She played in the lush rice fields. She played around on the beaches. But by 1998, the year she left her village, it was estimated that around 40% of the land had already been taken by investors. In 2012, 80% of the land has been taken by investors. And this included land for farming, riverbanks, and other parts. Those lands either turned into villas, resort, for any other important reason. This has gotten to such an extreme point that locals can't even access the beach anymore, except for one tiny part. And that's because a single man denied billions of rupiah. And if we're being honest, that billions of rupiah is way more than what his whole bloodline could ever make. He denied that much money so that people like Ibu Anik and the village community there could play in the beach. This is modern colonization happening right before our eyes. I'm from Bali myself, from a village called Tabanan located here. And I spent my childhood growing up here, playing in my grandpa's garden, chasing chickens, just whatever a child could do with a huge area. But I can feel it there. The slow, creeping hands of investors peeking in, sniffing around, trying to see what another new development could be made. Locals simply can't compete with this rapid extractive development. Young people leave farming not because they want to, but because they have to. Because working on a resort is safer, much more stable. That's what everyone tells them. And honestly, I can't blame them. But at what cost? And are we ready? This issue with extraction affects all aspects of life, the whole living system that we all here are a part of right now. Extractive tourism is when we take more than what the place can give us. A living system is any system, social, biological, or ecological, that is self-organizing, adaptive, and sustained by the flow of energy and information. It's made up of interdependent parts that work together and support the whole. In the context of tourism, this system is made out of the people, place, and culture. For example, it functions like a forest. When one tree is cut down, it doesn't just disappear in isolation. The soil dries out. Nearby roots lose protection. Animals, insects move away, and the balance shift. So allow me to walk you through what those components of tourism are going through right now. Loss of land. An estimated 600 hectares of land are converted to tourism infrastructure since 2021 annually. We are reaching 2,400 as of this year. If you can't grasp what 600 hectares look like, it's bigger than Canggu. Canggu is 523 hectares. That much is being taken away every year. Farming land, beaches, hills, and so much more. Cultural dilution. Out of the many, many farmers here in Bali, only those who are millennial generation 19 to 39 of age, only 15% of them continue in the line of farming work. Water crisis. We all know that water crisis is very much happening in Bali. Not all parts of Bali can access clean, safe water. Yet the hotel sector consumes 56% of the Bali's total water supply. And the truth is, most tourist-related businesses nowadays are not locally owned. They may appear so, but they are not. This can result in tourism leakage, economic leakage. Does this look like a healthy living system? A healthy destination? When is enough enough? For years, we considered tourism to be good or successful if it increased GDP, a money-making machine. GDP is a measure of growth that doesn't take into account or benefits to people and the environment. Stripping Bali of its cultural heritage, its identity, increases GDP. This kind of tourism generates money, but does it generate vitality? Tourism may fill some Balinese bank accounts, but if it empties communities of resilience, harmony with the nature, can we still call it a success? This is where regenerative tourism comes in. Regenerative tourism is a travel experience that restores and regenerates the environment and its community. It's not simply just minimizing harm, reducing the impact, negative impact, but actually leaving the place better than you found it. Anna Pollock, a pioneering leader in regenerative tourism field, she said that regeneration is based on how living systems work, not how machines work. She said that regeneration takes tourism from a different perspective. Not what can this place do for tourism, but what can tourism do for this place? I interviewed Professor Surya Dharma, an ethnoecology professor at Universitas Negeri Yogyakarta. And he told me regeneration can be learned from nature. Just like how a gecko loses its tail, it can grow another one by itself. So how can Bali grow by itself with tourism on the side that complements it, does not ruin it? My first step to tackling this issue was to understand this topic deeper and raise awareness. That's why I started a social media account to share my research, progress, and questions. I named it Bali for Bumi to remind us that there's only one Bali and Bumi, which is one Earth. But to gain a deeper research, I can't just research journals or scientific papers. Yes, that's important, but I needed to know what the people actually know. What are they experiencing? So I interviewed several people with diverse backgrounds, yet they all share one vision, a future in Bali where the people in the island are put together and put first. Bapak Agung Gunartawa, the co-founder of Samsara Living Museum, a true example of what regeneration can look like. Professor Surya Dharma, an ethnoecology professor who's active in various organizations and research paper on the context of regeneration. Kak Anissa Fauzia, though she's not originally from Bali, she brings a very important perspective as an outsider. And she initiated her very own first sustainable fashion brand. And Gede Whitson, who's right here actually. He's the alumni right from Green School here itself. He also started his very own initiative that shows what the youth can do. Ibu Kanya Maniasa, I think we all know her, the executive director of Green School Foundation. She believes in youth empowerment and education. And Ibu Anik Puspawadani, a woman from Kelechung, a coastal village here in Bali, who started her own community-based tourism business. I learned so much from these people, and I wanted to share it to all of you. So from everything that I've learned, I created a documentary, a short one, and I'd love to show a trailer of it.
Nah, kita tidak menolak pariwisata, memang sangat itu sudah kenyataan. Tanah di belakang nih semuanya udah nggak ada.
Semua udah punya investor nasi. Attracting more than 6 million tourists every year, Bali is a paradise for millions, known for its culture, tradition, nature, and warm local people. But beneath all this beauty lies a challenge.
A lot of economic prosperity has been created through the tourism industry. At the same time, there are lots of challenges.
Since 2021, the government reported that 600 hectares of land have been converted into tourism infrastructure, largely due to foreign investment. This rapid phase of tourism has forced many locals to sell their land, unable to compete with the rising economy. Memang benar-benar sisa pantai yang ada bisa diakses oleh komunitas pelancong dan publik. To find out more about this concept, this existing issue, and the businesses that are following regenerative tourism, I decided to interview many local figures that are in this field. What is Kelchung Eco Village, or what is this space? What are we seeing right now here?
Oh, this thing is the thing I do in my village. These types of thought I want to open for the Balinese youth, because then suddenly they're like,
Hi, Shawnee. Hi, Carmana. Thank you so much for taking the time to be.
Regenerative itu. Setiap apapun tumbuh dia akan mampu menumbuhkan dirinya sendiri.
I know that was a tad dramatic, but I hope you remember it by that. This was literally made so fast. This actually took so much time of my Greenstone. But the full version is uploaded right here. So if you want to take the time and watch the full version, please scan the QR code right here. It'll be linked to a Google Drive, so just hit the star and leave it for later. Yes. A pattern I noticed during the interviews was that education is the start to all action. It was important. So that's why last year I had the opportunity to co-teach a middle school class, ISU, Integrated Study Unit titled The Good, the Bad, and the Tourism. Through this class, Ibu Angie and the students and I explored the benefits and challenges of what tourism have not just in Bali, but in their own country or places as well. Because this problem with tourism does not just affect Bali, it's global. They also got to learn from local experts when they visited other organizations or initiatives. Thank you, Bu Angie, for this opportunity. And also, last year during Sustainable Solution, I hosted and organized a symposium where I invited businesses that have the value of regeneration. This was a chance for me to get a wider audience so that they can learn, they can engage from based on real life experiences. I was then invited to speak at the Asia Pacific Summit for event leaders by Bali Tourism Polytechnic University, alongside with where I shared my project with a crowd of tourism experts, professors, CEOs, university students, and many more. Thank you, Ibu Putri, for this opportunity. Recently, I was invited by the Green School Foundation to speak at the Youth Environmental Conference, to participate in a panel discussion with an audience of mostly youth. They were farmers or worked in social organizations. And through this experience, it made me realize that there's many people out there with the same vision as I do. And that is comforting in many, many ways. So how can others support this? I think I've done a lot of talking, but how can you all support this? Through this project, I got to know and hear so many inspiring individuals, organizations, and businesses. I wanted everyone to know that, hey, these people have already done it here in Bali. And that's why I created a directory book. I have a list of businesses that went through the criteria of regenerative tourism. There's around 14 businesses here with various fields. All the businesses there featured are locally owned or locally operated. They all share the values of Trihita Karana. I made a criteria that is regenerative for regenerative businesses as a foundation through the Trihita Karana as well. I know you've probably heard of Trihita Karana a lot. This Balinese philosophy that says you can feel a fulfilling life if you are in harmony with God, people, and nature. You've heard of this probably so many times, but trust me, every time I interview someone, they tell me to go back to these because our ancestors knew what they were doing. They've already written it there. We just need to listen, open our eyes, and see it with ourselves. If anybody would like to see the book later on or purchase it, please do find me. And all the profits that go to this goes back to the continuation of this project because this is not the end. And if you know any businesses, organizations, or initiative that you think is regenerative, please let me know by scanning the QR code here. Any at all. I know my project still has a long way to go, and it's not perfect, but I'm proud so far. I've had people come up to me and say they didn't know this was a problem. They didn't know this was urgent, or they didn't know what to do. If I could change one person's mindset or spark a sense of urgency in them, then I've already achieved something. A big part throughout this project, a challenge that I face, was losing hope. Every day, as I research more and more paper, more news come up, bad news. And I felt like my project couldn't make an impact out of this pile of damage that's been done over the decades. What could I do? But then PopMeds told me, if one person could work on regenerative tourism this year, and then two people in the next, 4 people, and it keeps duplicating, then that's an impact. So I'm proud to share that 2 of the grade 11s will also be continuing my project. Despite receiving 2 full scholarships to university abroad, I choose to stay here to continue this project because this is urgent. It didn't take just one person to create all this damage, create this crisis. So I want to ask all of you here, the youth, the government, travelers, consumers, educators, to join in. Thank you. Yes. Before I bawl my eyes out, I want to say thank you to everyone in the Greenstone community. The teachers, Pat Benjamin, Ibu Kate, Pat Mads, Ibu Noriko, who helped me as well. My parents, my mom and dad, for always being the inspiration. My friends, and everyone here. Thank you.